Hey guys, Saf here, and I'm back in Camelot. We are playing King Arthur's Legends Rise. This is kind of like my third video this month on this. Thank you so much to King Arthur for sponsoring today's video. Today, what we're going to be talking about is why relics can absolutely redefine your heroes. Absolutely, completely change the way that you consider them. It is something we had to consider when we did the tier list on hellhades.com, when we did the tier list for our heroes. It's actually super important that you review all of the relics before you make a judgment on any character that you pull. Now, I'm fortunate enough, I have managed to acquire pretty much every legendary apart from, I think, Vivian and Lancelot and Iwerit. So two of the new ones and Lancelot. I haven't been able to get them yet. I did just pick up Gilroy. So I've been pretty fortunate. I've got all the different ones. And making decisions about which heroes you're going to upgrade, which ones you're going to use, is kind of a big decision. Now, every hero will start with a particular weapon, and it's not universal. It's not like everyone starts with Frost. You can see Gawain here starts with the Wind weapon, the Wind relic, Guinevere with Wind, Clarison with Fire, Sigrun with Fire, Lot and Merlin have started with their Ice relic. Now, sometimes the relic that you start with is good. I think this is the case for someone like Bedivere. Bedivere I use in pretty much all of my teams. I've done a video guide on him. I use his Frost weapon, and it's pretty good. Now, it's not the best one, but for the average setup where you need a combination of a little bit of AoE ability damage, a little bit of single target burst, it's a pretty good option. Now, there are two other options here. We've got like the Crimson Wound. This one becomes much more of a single target focus. If all I wanted to use him for was attacking a single target, then this weapon would be an improvement. However, there are some adjustments to consider here. For example, I actually prefer Intimidation because it gives me a 40% critical buff for one turn when every time I use it, 100% chance, and then that just helps me do a lot more damage. Right? I don't need to have 100% crit rate, I can have 60%. This is actually huge because it means you get the secondary hits. Whereas if I go to this other ability, you can see actually I don't get that buff, but I hit 2 times, where in this instance I only hit once. So what you effectively need to think about is like, okay, well, maybe I have a better, stronger build, so therefore I can go to this weapon. It's going to give me more damage because it's going to hit one more time. It's much better on a single target boss, but I lose that buff. Whereas this is a bit more of a starter one. Then we can go to the Blade of Destruction. You can see I haven't acquired this one yet. You've got to summon these weapons. And we go to, again, a bit more of a single target focus, but this time I get a crit rate buff for 3 turns, and I get a single target. So what you can essentially do with this is the best weapon for a single target boss because you have to keep using this ability to sustain your buff. Whereas in this situation, you do this once, and then actually what you do is you keep attacking with the Dusk Cutter for 3 turns, because you can see we get a huge amount of damage boost here, 26% 4 times. That is a lot stronger than, say, these bonuses here where we're only getting 14%, and even this bonus here, you can see this one is actually quite a lot more, but actually the buff is what we need. So, you know, some characters, I think the point I'm trying to make here is it doesn't really matter really which one you go with Bedivere. You're going to get good performance out of all of them. But I've just got a weapon, a relic for one character that absolutely redefined the way that I'm using them, and it is for Gillian. Now, Gillian is a pretty, if you look at a lot of the tier lists, a lot of different websites, you'll see that she is rated S tier. And it is not because of her starter relic. Right now, you start with the Fire relic, this wand. You look at the set and you go, okay, well, why is Gillian rated S rating? Let's see what she does. So she has a 60% chance to trigger a attack gauge reduction on a random enemy. So it's pretty good. Book it up to 20%, 2 targets. It's very good turn gauge reduction. Very powerful against some bosses that you really need to reduce that turn. I think one of the gear dungeons, I think is Arcelus, is really important. We also get this when an ally is inflicted with an abnormal status. You can click this to see which one. So this is any sort of crowd control, stealing turns, temptation, any of these. It will trigger overhealing, and it will remove all of those and heal according to the number removed. And it will also grant some immunity for 2 turns. That's on a 6-turn cooldown. So it's a pretty good immunity effect. Then we have a passive 3. Whenever she heals an ally, she has a 60% chance to recharge their attack gauge by 30%. Cool. So pretty much a standard support set. And then we will look at the Betrayal's price. We get a single target A1. We get a single target heal. Great. The A2, we get another attack gauge reduction and another single target heal. And then you also get this temptation, which is a bit of crowd control. So you might be looking at the relic and going, well, single target healing, bit of RNG on the cleanser, that doesn't sound that powerful. And it is because a lot of people will use Gillian with this Frost relic. This relic completely redefines her because it changes her skills. Whenever you change relic, you get some different skills. Now, the first ability is pretty much the same thing. You can see on the fire, it's a 34%, 5.7% heal. It's the same thing, right? Sometimes the books are a little bit better, but generally there's some similarities between the two. When we look at the other two abilities, we can see they do change. So if we look at the third ability here, attack one enemy 2 times, we place a temptation. When we use the frost one, we're actually going to place, each hit has a 30% chance to place temptation. So it's still the same kind of thing. This is a better chance because it's 70% one time, whereas this is a 30% 2 times. So it's actually slightly lower chance, but it is an AoE. This one is only single target. So already converting that to an AoE, but each hit is probably better for you. But the big difference is the second ability. This ability here is going to, at the moment, 50% chance to reduce the attack gauge, attack one enemy, heal the ally with the lowest HP for 14%. When we go to the second ability, we're going to attack one enemy still. There's a 60% chance, so that's an increase from 40% or 50%, so we have a better chance of doing it. And we also then get an independent chance to heal each ally. So not only do we go from a slightly better chance to apply it, now obviously you can book this up, you can get it to 15%, so if you fully upgrade it, fine, but we're talking about base numbers here. There's a 50% chance with a 14% heal the lowest ally. We go to a 60% chance base with a 30% chance to do an AoE heal and a 100% chance to still heal the lowest. And this completely changes the way you approach her, because before you were looking at her as a single target healer. Now she can heal all of your team. And it is the same strength. Now, it's not a 100% chance. It's a 30% chance. It's not like it's crazy consistent. But if you have vigor sets, this weapon completely changes her. And when we look at the Staff of Diana, we can see it changes even further. The A1 is still the same. The A1 doesn't really change. There's a bit more healing on the A1 here. The A2 now actually is where the temptation is. You still get the attack gauge slightly more. And the chance is much higher. So it's a much more consistent. But you also get a 40% chance to place temptation. And you still heal single target. But the A3 now becomes a triple buff. Effect accuracy increase, hit accuracy increase, attack speed increase. So this becomes just much more of a buff setup rather than a heal. But I was fortunate enough to get this just now. That's why it's still level 1. I've only just got it. So we're going to look and see how much of a difference it really makes. So the best way to test this is, the good thing about the game is it gives you stats. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Seal Temple. I'm going to use her with the relic. I'm going to use her with a fire relic, and then I'm going to use her without the fire relic. So we're going to take off Bedivere here. We're going to put Gillian in. I'm going to put her into the fire relic first. So I generally tend to manual these boss fights because they are a little bit tricky. You only need to do 6 a day. So you want to make sure that you target in the right things here. Like that. See, you don't really want to be targeting the immunity on the boss. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically always use A2 on Gillian so that we basically have that ability going all the time, right? That'll be the only ability that we're going to use on Gillian. We've got 2 vigor sets in this team, so that we should be able to sustain enough vigor between the 2 characters we have here. Let's throw out a bit of an AoE. And like I said, we're only going to use A2 here, so we get a really good understanding of essentially how strong the healing output is. Now, the nice thing as well about the A2 is we get some turn meter reduction, which is incredibly important for some bosses and some content where you need to be able to do what's happening right now, right? We technically need to apply an abnormal stats effect. Now, I could switch to this, try to apply temptation, that would break him out, but honestly I'm not too concerned because I can just reduce his attack gauge from time to time. Now we're going to just take him out here, break his leg again, put attack speed up with our Turin, and we're going to go into second phase. Right, so second phase, we go attack speed increase straight away with Turin. We're going to go, I think we can do this one to get the damage up because we have the passive back. And then we're going to start slamming some damage. Now we've got to double check. I'm pretty sure he's immune to damage because his other arms are up. So we probably should take out the other arms first. Now, unfortunately, we didn't have enough to do the A2 there, but that's okay. It's not a problem. We'll be able to check on the stats. What's really cool about King Arthur is you can check how many times you've used an ability to do a bit of a direct comparison. Right, so we're nearly there, and we just need to finish this boss off, and we'll see how much healing she actually did. By the way, Ain and Turin together are absolute very strong carries. Oof, Bedivere took an absolute, like a huge amount of damage there. There we go. Right, so let's do a bit of a stat comparison here when we come to the victory screen. We can go to battle stats and we can see what has been used. So we can see that Gillian has healed for 19%, Turin 81%. The rare is actually completely out healing the legendary. We can see how many skills was used. So she used 7 of those enkindling blooms, 7 of them. That is how many we've used. Healing output in terms of defense here, healing 5,000 versus 22,000. Stat breakdowns are great. So what we want to do now is switch the weapon. And we're going to bring the frost weapon in and we're going to basically run it again. And we're going to see how much of an impact it actually has on the healing output. I wonder if it can even beat the Turin. That's been the challenge so far. Let's break the leg. There was that big heal that time, which is great. So let's throw this out. Huge damage from Bedivere. I don't think I'm ever going to get over how much damage Bedivere absolutely outputs. There's the second ability there. We didn't get an AoE that time. We can throw out this just to have blooming snowflakes. And then let's hopefully break into second form. Okay, I think we've done about 3 or 4 A2s as a comparison. If we get to 7, that's really ideal because we can see a like-for-like comparison. So we don't have anything right now. This is, I think, hit on an ally, so we're just going to A1. There's no value for us doing anything right this second. We'll break one of his arms. There's that AoE heal there. So already we've had like multiple AoE heals. I'd imagine she is absolutely smashing her previous record. One of these removes an effect. So we're going to do this to give us some dot immunity. And then we're just going to smash the right tendril. We run out of... we had this last time. We ran out of vigor. Just one ability. Set the buffs. Big smash now. Big smash from Bedivere. Takes out both of the arms in one go. We want to just hit that ability. I really need to remember what this does. So we just need to hit him 8 times. 8 times we need to hit him right now. Okay, that's quite a lot. Obviously, we're probably not going to get there in time. But if we get some attack gauge increases, that can absolutely help. Which we didn't get the attack gauge decrease, even though it's a higher chance. Ain has been absolutely obliterated by something. Never too sure what. That's why you kind of need to get that hit right. But this should not be a problem. We're going to do this. And hopefully finish off Kuranos here. There we go. It is down. So, how much better was that relic? 33% this time versus 67. Still doesn't match Turin. Turin's applying heal over time, as in the status effect. So that's kind of to be expected. In terms of skill used, she used 7 again. But this time, she healed for 4,000, 33%. So the healing output was significantly higher, and that's a level 1 relic as well. So we haven't even leveled it up. We haven't put any upgrades into it. It's a big difference. So I suppose what I'm trying to get to here is that this relic is going to completely change the way that I approach using Gillian. I stopped using Gillian in favor of some rares because her healing output on her fire weapon was just nowhere near. She's going to be able to go back into some teams now and absolutely pull out some more value for me with these healing metrics. Now, one of the things I should be doing, because she is a predominantly big healer, is the set she's in right now is not very good. What we should absolutely do is put her in a healing set. Healing is going to basically improve the volume of recovery we give. So every heal is going to be 35% stronger because she's doing lots of AoE healing. It's a big deal. So we should absolutely, I should absolutely just change her up into this, craft some better equipment, try to get some more of this. I've been crafting a lot of vigor sets, trying to really push for that. But yes, heal set is what I should go for. But there we go. A bit of a dive into how the relics really can define the character that you've pulled. Don't just look at the first relic you get and go, well, it's not a very good. It's not very good because the skills aren't very good, because sometimes the skills can be quite different between the two. Not so much in some cases. For example, Bedivere, the weapons are fairly similar. You're not going to see a difference, but this adds an entirely strong, like just literally adds an AoE heal, and that alone is very, very different. That alone itself is a big power difference in terms of the one weapon before the other, and that's probably why you see her as S tier on a lot of different tier lists, because they are using this wintry winds to push more healing. Thanks very much again to King Arthur for sponsoring today's video. If you like what you've seen in this video, you're very interested in playing King Arthur, I highly recommend it. It's a fun game. Click on the link in the description of this video on the pinned comment. You can download the game. It's available on all different clients. It's on mobile, it's on PC, it's on Mac. I think it's pretty much universal. You can download it wherever you want. And yeah, get involved. It's a really fun game. Appreciate everyone who has watched today's video, and I will catch you in the next video.